In our culture, everything is based on success. But what is success? Who defined it? Who decided that success was the goal instead of fulfillment? What happens if we shake up that definition? What if we make our own definition of success? My name is Tony Grebmeyer, and on this podcast, I'm going to dig deep into the real stories behind success. Join me as I interview other entrepreneurs who've climbed up Success Mountain and have come back down to share their stories so you can succeed. If you're ready to join a community of other entrepreneurs redefining success and finding fulfillment, go to BeFulfilledLife.com and join the community. Now, let's dive into today's show. Welcome to Be Fulfilled. It is the real stories behind success. My name is Tony Grebmeyer, and today we're going to go up Success Mountain with Tina Anderson. She's the owner and CEO at Just Thrive. Now, early in her career, she served as in-house counsel for a small pharmaceutical company. Frustrated by what she witnessed in the pharmaceutical industry, Tina quickly turned her energy towards the field of natural health, and she channeled her own energy into learning all she could about disease prevention and good health maintenance. That led her to discover the importance of gut health and how connected it is for overall wellness. Man, isn't that the truth? Right now, putting all that extra weight on for everybody in isolation and quarantine. She's here today to share her discovery with the world. Tina, along with her husband, created a unique supplement. And by promoting gut health and probiotics, Tina's going to share her passion for wellness, helping others live their best physical and emotional lives. You can learn more at justthrivehealth.com. Please welcome to the show, Tina.
Well, thank you so much, Tony. I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I love what I've seen so far about you, and I'm excited to kind of go up Success Mountain with you today and learn what makes you kind of tick and have fun in the world. But before we get out the gate and go too fast, too far, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is having inner peace with the life that you're living in, and just being grateful. And I think that the gratitude and inner peace really go hand in hand, because I think when you are grateful for what you have in your life, it creates the inner peace. And I think when you have inner peace, it makes you be grateful for the life that you have.
No, I love that. When you were growing up as a child, did you kind of have a vision of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
I did. It's so funny. I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a business, be in business. I wanted to wear really fancy suits and go downtown. I actually wanted to be a receptionist at a law firm. And I wanted to marry this really attractive man and have this great family. And I literally knew about visualizations before I knew it was like the thing to do. So I really did know what I wanted to do. And so I was close, I wasn't a receptionist at a law firm, but I did become an attorney. And, but I purposely wanted to be a receptionist because I wanted to be able to go home and not take work home with me. So it's so funny. So then I ended up, marrying this, handsome, tall, dark, and handsome man, and having 3 beautiful children. So I did kind of create the life that I envisioned.
And when you were busy at the pharmaceutical company as an in-house counsel, how hectic was your life?
Yeah. Well, my life was really more hectic when I was in litigation. So before I went into in-house, I was in litigation. And so I went to that to have more of a work-life balance. So that life actually was pretty calm. I mean, it was pretty good. I had a great work-life balance. I was able to be home a lot with my children and still practice law in that capacity.
Are your kids still at home, or are they?
Well, right now they are, thank God. But I've got one that graduated college, one that's a senior in college, and then one that is a junior in high school. So one that's technically under the roof. But right now during the court, everyone's so upset about it. And I'm like, this is another thing I'm so grateful for, having another opportunity to have all 5 of us under the same roof.
You should talk with my wife. She is like, we have 2 college kids. We have a 18 and a 21-year-old. And our 18 came home from his freshman year at college. He's in the basement, doing school studies. And our other kid is with his girlfriend. They traveled from California to Utah. Wow. It's only like 8-hour drive away. So it's so close to being home yet so far. So as a mom, it must feel good to have your family unit all back together.
Oh, you have no idea. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Well, let's talk a little bit today as we go up Success Mountain about finding that pure happiness and then launching a supplement company and a mission and really what I
have been hearing so much about is the importance of gut balance and what really we're putting into our bodies today, and the things that are not necessarily helping us. They're kind of hurting us, and they're silent killers. When we're sleeping, our body's trying to rejuvenate and help and heal ourselves, but instead we're putting stuff into our body that's somewhat toxic and causing us to be bloated throughout the day and uneasy and frustrated. So let's talk a little bit about what you and your husband set out to do and how you kind of have revolutionized an industry, because I think it's really, really important to talk. The freshman 15 is what everybody thinks they get when they go off to college. And now it's the COVID 30. Like I put on 30 pounds, finding myself eating morning, noon, and night. So I'd love to talk a little bit about kind of your mission and how you founded your company and what you guys are up to in the world.
Yeah. So we founded the company based on a desire to leave the pharmaceutical world, just because we saw a lot of the abuses in the pharmaceutical industry. We saw the overprescribing of drugs. We saw, a focus on treatment rather than prevention. And we really wanted to do something that was more in line with who we were and how we lived our lives. We're very deep thinkers. I read a lot of Norman Vincent Peale and Wayne Dyer. And I just knew we weren't doing our life's work. And my husband was right on board with me. So we searched and tried to find something that would really make a difference in people's lives and in the natural space, because that's the way we treated our kids with things. And we would let them have their fever until it got crazy high, because we know that your body's fever is your body's mechanism to fight infection. And so people are always quickly want to bring the fever down, but really it's our body's natural mechanism. So and we knew that there were a lot of supplements out there, and so we found through being at the right place in the right time and some connections that we had in the industry, we were able to license the exclusive rights to these probiotic strains from London University, Dr. Simon Cutting, world-renowned probiotic expert. And from there, that's when Just Thrive Probiotic was born. And it was crazy, because it wasn't an area that I knew anything about. I didn't know about marketing a product or launching a product or packaging or anything like that. But I knew how to research and I knew how to learn. And so that's what we did. And we just went head first. And it's been the most gratifying career journey by far I've ever been on, because it's just been so great to help people. And, we learned about gut health and the importance of gut health and how critically important it is for every aspect of our overall health.
I think it's so fascinating because, when we grew up, I grew up in the 70s. My parents were divorced. So my mom was working 3 jobs to put food on the table for my sister and myself. So she was like, make something quick and feed it to you. And you're like off and running. I played sports. I was an All-American athlete. And I didn't really think much about it, because I observed my father when I was with him. He would wolf down food really, really quick. And that kind of set the tone for my life, right? And it wasn't until I kind of got older and I met my wife. She's a vegetarian. And then she'd been vegetarian like 25 years, and just kind of like watching and observing. So what are some of the things that you hear so much when people are having these issues in their gut, and then what your company and specifically what these strands can do to really help somebody?
Yeah. Well, what we're hearing, a lot of times people will go to a probiotic because they're having gastrointestinal issues, diarrhea, constipation, gas and bloating, those types of things. And of course, those are the times that you want to be taking a probiotic or be focusing on your gut health. But what people don't realize is that pretty much every health condition out there is tied to the imbalance of your gut. So people have a skin rash, for example, that is tied to an imbalance in your gut. Mental health issues are tied to an imbalance of the gut. There's a huge nerve called the vagus nerves. That's a communication superhighway between your gut and your brain. And they're both sending signals back and forth to each other. So when people say, trust your gut, you should trust your gut, because that's really a real thing, And then there's also any type of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune issues. All of those conditions are tied to an imbalance in your gut. So it's hard to find any condition, health condition out there or disease that is not tied to an imbalance in your gut. The Human Microbiome Project was launched about 10 years ago or so, told us more about the gut than we ever knew before. And we know that health, we need a diverse, healthy microbiome, which is the big bacteria in our gut, to really have overall health. Our 80% of our immune system is found in our gut. And, people like during this time, I mean, the most important thing you could do during this time when there's not yet a vaccine or, a cure, a pharmaceutical cure out there for this virus or a vaccine for it, is to support your immune system. And 80% of it is in your gut. So you need to be focusing on your gut first.
No, it's fascinating. And I can guarantee you my first week or so being quarantined, I was like, this can't last that long. Yeah. And as it has gone on, what are some things that people should be doing just to maintain good health right now that you can recommend specifically around healthy living that is really going to be important to that overall healthy kind of like body and mind? And I loved what you were talking about with Wayne Dyer. Was one of the fascinating people in my journey. As a mentor, I never got to meet personally, but has been so important in my journey and the balance of really the shift. Like he wrote a book and a movie and everything about it. So what's the shift that you're seeing or recommending to people right now during an uncertain time so that they can be certainly focused on the things that are important to them?
Yeah. First and foremost, I think is sleep. I think people need to maintain regular sleep schedules. I think that's been hard for all of us. I think the first week or two, it was like, oh, we're on vacation. This is great. And staying up late and doing all those types of things. But I think sleep is really important. I think a mindful practice or deep breathing, either one of those things, whether it's meditation or just sitting quietly for 5 minutes a day and trying to let your thoughts just kind of come and go and do deep breathing. I think exercise is really important. If you're lucky enough to have a sauna in your house, that would be great to get yourself sweating is really great to help detoxify. And it's also very calming. I think, taking a whole lot of supplements is really important, and eating really clean, trying to eat clean and avoiding sugar. I hate to say this, but avoiding alcohol. I'm sorry. And I can't say that I've been really good at that, but I'm just saying that's what we should be doing, especially if you're in a category of the, immunocompromised or any of the risk, categories that have been listed. But I think really trying to, and of course, focusing on your gut health. I mean, that's key, but really trying to eat like organic foods, staying away from processed foods and that kind of thing, trying to eat as clean as possible.
When you check out justthrivehealth.com, you first stumble upon that whole gut idea, right? You got to trust your gut a little bit and know your gut really, really well. And then, I'm surfing over to what's available and I'm like, where does like the person just start when they're like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't know if everything's right inside. Is there a path that you recommend people to, go get a checkup with their doctor? Is there just that initial kind of, hey, let me try a supplement and see what it does? Because a lot of our listeners, they're entrepreneurs, they're business owners, but at the end of the day, they're workaholics. They're head down, they're focused on their business. They order whatever's for lunch. They don't even take a moment to focus on what they're eating. And then at the end of the day, they're not getting the sleep because they're stressed. And that releases all this other stuff into their mind and their body. And then by the time it's put something in their body and go to bed, they wake up and they do it all over again. So I want to try to help as many entrepreneurs today and business owners and families to get the right move to help them on their journey. So how did you start? What was the very first product? And then what was the thing that you knew that was the right product for you?
Yeah, our first flagship product was the probiotic. And I would recommend everybody start with the probiotic. There's really no group of people that are not situated to be on this product. I mean, you always, if you're on other medication, you should ask your doctor. If you're pregnant or nursing, you should ask your doctor, but there are no contraindications or anything like that. So I would say that everyone should just start with the probiotic because that is the foundation. It's ground zero for health. The job of these particular strains of probiotic is to rebalance the gut. So kind of, having to make sure you're getting rid of the bad bacteria and bringing to life some of the good bacteria that maybe has been stepped on and trampled on. So it's just like the most basic thing that anyone could do for overall health. And everybody is different. Some people may notice more energy. Some people may notice, oh man, I lost a few pounds because I don't have as many sugar cravings because it's getting rid of the yeast overgrowth in the gut. Some people may notice better mood, maybe feeling happier. Some people that have like really bad digestive issues are going to notice something like maybe diarrhea. They may notice it a little bit quicker. But, everybody is different. Long term, what you should start noticing is that you're just overall feeling healthier and being healthier. But these strains that are in our product are actually the same strains that were found in our food. Our ancestors found in our food years ago from our soil, but now our soil is so depleted that we don't take it. Now, and then naturally after the probiotic, I would tell people maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, maybe go onto the prebiotic, because the prebiotic is the food that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. You could start at the same time, but you might want to just wait a couple weeks, start the prebiotic. During this time where we're really focusing on our immune system, though, I would do the probiotic and the IgG. IgG stands for immunoglobulin G. Immunoglobulin G is an antibody. It's the most common antibody found in our body. And the role of IgG that's naturally made in our body is to grab onto antigens. So things like viruses, bacteria, like pathogenic bacteria, mold overgrowth, and environmental toxins. So IgG in the body, its role in the body is to grab onto these toxins and bind them, neutralize them, and safely remove them from the body. So our IgG product gives our body more of that IgG capability. So it's more IgG. So I think during this time, I would do the probiotic and the IgG. And then 3 weeks later, I would add into the prebiotic. But if you could only do one product, I would do the probiotic for sure.
No, I loved how you said, like, everybody should be on it. It's like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, it really is the most, and especially for the entrepreneurs, because same thing, mom of 3 kids, running around, athletes, they're college athletes, and I'm, flying to California for one, going here for another game, and a high school athlete, and I'm running this business and literally fried myself in the process, sort of. And it's like, I just kept thinking, thank God my gut is healthy, because I know that is so imperative for, functioning and just doing, maintaining the health when sometimes you're not always making yourself and your health a priority. But I would caution every entrepreneur to just take your health seriously. Take time out for exercise, deep thinking, meditation, some type of mindful practice, and exercise. I cannot emphasize that enough.
I love it. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We are speaking today with Tina Anderson. She's the owner and CEO at Just Thrive. Everything you want to know is going to be in the show notes at TonyGrebmeyer.com. What I want you to understand so far about our journey up Success Mountain, as we kind of get ready to walk down, is she went with her gut. She decided that she wanted more, and she started doing some research and figured it out, like along this process, like how not only can she be healthy, but how can she help others to be. And we just were getting into just a little bit of like scraping back some of the layers for an entrepreneur. And unfortunately, we can get really, really busy in our life, and we can forget to take care of ourselves. And so today, if I'm learning one thing that I need to remind myself, the oxygen mask must be on myself. I got to give it to me before I can help others. And so I hope you stick around. We're going to learn more about Tina Anderson and Just Thrive. So stick around right here on the Be Fulfilled podcast show.
Since Tony's taking a break, why don't we take one together? Or a different type of break than the break we might feel like we're taking right now. Whether you call it self-distancing, self-isolating, quarantine. Look, there's levity in almost any situation, and there's a lot of quarantine humor going around. Like in 9 months, there'll be a whole new generation born called Coronials, who will inevitably grow up to be quarantines. And if you don't want a quarantine running around, well, maybe occupy your time in a different way by practicing curling. Just simply Swiffer in front of your Roomba. There you go.
Hey, we are back on the Be Fulfilled podcast show. And during our break, Tina and I were chatting about, like I said, hey, what is there something on like your heart that you just love? And she's like, I love talking about culture and love building it with our team. And I'm like, hey, you know what? That's so important, specifically right now, as most companies are working remote. And if you have a strong culture, you can get through anything. And one of the ways that, as we learn more about Tina is, this is something for me, I'm all ears. I'm ready to talk about it today, because I think there's nothing that we can do but focus on our people, because our people together are better than we are individually by ourselves. So thank you and welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Tony. Excited to be back.
So let's talk about culture. I think that's a fun topic for a lot of people these days. You're either isolated or you are thriving in some type of a culture.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I just think that was the biggest shock as an entrepreneur is how much I enjoyed building a team and how much I enjoyed seeing, building this culture. Our philosophy is that we hire for culture first and then skill and talent next. Hopefully, we do both. And so far we've done a pretty good job at doing that, but it's really important. We had someone super qualified that we met with and great person, but just didn't fit our culture and didn't fit who we were as a team. And so we didn't hire them, and we think it's really important that we focus on that. And just one of the biggest things too is that we've done is just investing in our team. I always tell everybody on the team, and I feel like I wish all employers would look at things this way, is that, nobody owes me anything when they're, at the end of the day, they've worked for me and I've paid them. So we're even. If somebody wants to leave to go start a business or somebody wants to, go into some other job that's maybe in a different industry, maybe the same industry, but maybe this isn't fulfilling them anymore, I'm fully behind it because I just feel that, I think that that's just what we should do. We should be investing in our team personally as well as professionally. And they just have your back. I just think they love it. They do everything. Our team does so much for me. They would, run in front of a Mack truck. I hope they wouldn't. But for me, I feel like that's how they would, pay it forward to us because it's such a win-win. And it's funny because, we have a 5-week paid vacation policy. We do monthly massages that they're required to take on work hours. I mean, we do all kinds of different fun things. We do team retreats and all that. And I always thought, my God, I hope this isn't going to backfire on me. Like, does it work? But it's crazy. The more we give, the more we get. It's like, and it's not to say that's why we're doing it, but it's amazing to me how important that culture is. I love that, the old school thinkers of, oh my God, no, you have to have them sign in and you have to do this and you have to, make them report every little thing and micromanaging. I love to prove them all wrong because we are having such incredible success with the product. It's, the product line, it's working so well, but with our team especially.
How many people make up your team?
14.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
we remove the whole clock in, clock out mentality. That doesn't work. And I kind of realize you're handcuffing people's creativity because I had a buddy of mine tell me, if your team member or client or person gets their job done in 6 hours, but they were supposed to work for 8 hours, are you frustrated or upset? And if it took them 10 hours to do an 8-hour job, are you frustrated or upset if they're performing work through and through,
Oh my God, absolutely. And that, I think that the reason I'm so passionate about this is all the years of being in litigation. And I had to go into the office on Saturday mornings and Sundays, just do the FaceTime thing. I'm not into FaceTime. We're a 100% remote company anyway. So it's we don't need to do that. But even still, like, we don't have them, we're not checking what they're doing, what time they're signing in and signing out. And we have obviously structures in place and things like that. We have parameters, but not in an effort to keep tabs on everybody. It's more to, just empower them and have them have structure.
Yeah, no, Tina, the thing that is so, I think, refreshing is your stance, right? Like, I love the 5 weeks. I love that you just are seeing the bigger picture and, hey, you can have the greatest person in front of you, but if you close your eyes and you're like, yeah, you're just not going to fit culture. Is there something that you're looking for specifically for your company's mission and like what you're looking for? Is there's something that will stand out during an interview?
Yeah, well, one of our core values is gratitude. It's a huge core value in our business. And I just think when I'm talking to people and I'm interviewing people, they start talking, just the language they're using, the speak, that they're grateful for things or they're, and just having a more positive mindset. I think I know people do that anyway in an interview. They try to say all the right buzzwords and things like that. But one of my favorite interview questions is, how did you handle a disagreement with a coworker? And I can't believe how some people will just say like, well, let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you. And it's like, oh my God, that's the wrong answer for me. I'm looking for people that create peace. I'm very much about peace. Like I talked about at the beginning of the show. And I always achieve peace. Even when I was in litigation, that was really my skill, was that I brought two sides together and I was really good at settling cases, but I like peace. And so I think that's a big, that they're grateful, that they are more peaceful people, not looking to prove a point. And, that's definitely where we're heading.
The piece that's so exciting too is like you ask open-ended questions and then you zip your lip and you're like, okay, put your foot in your mouth. You just bit down on all of your toes. Because I think people get stressed when they walk into an interview. They're not being themselves. And I think, you ask those types of questions and the goal is to try to get them to be themselves because that's the person you're really going to be working with.
Right.
Not the person that they're trying to show you they are, but the person deep down inside. And I think gratitude is great. One of my dear friends, Scott Colby, wrote a book, said, say it with gratitude. And if you can say it with gratitude in all things that you do, it has such an impactful thing. So he still practices writing handwritten thank you cards.
Yep. Yeah.
Like the little touches and more that I've been learning about your company. And let's talk about your husband since he's not here. That's always fun to talk about. What is Billy's role in the company?
Yeah, he's the co-founder of the company, and I said we're 100% remote, but we do have a warehouse that we are at sometimes, and so he'll be overseeing that once in a while. We only do our wholesale fulfillment out of there, so he's also a part of the visionary with me. We're both kind of visionary. Every morning we're sitting down having our coffee. We were on a walk last night, and it's like we're both kind of always envisioning our future together. So he's not as involved in the day-to-day operations of it like I am, but he's very much involved in the vision of the company. And it was actually his connection that got us these strains in the first place. So that was pretty cool. So we've maintained that relationship through the years. And
I like that. I was listening to a masterclass with Sarah Blakely not too long ago, and she was talking about she does some of her best thinking, like driving in a car. Where do you find your time to do your best thinking?
Yeah, definitely working out, walking, or I do a walk run thing, interval training outside, even in the winter, and I'm out of Chicago, but definitely working out when I'm doing my walking and running.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for just coming on today and sharing. I can't wait to bring you into the fulfillment round and get to know you a little bit better. But I think the magic sauce for me is that you said that everybody could use, probiotic. And I want people to realize maybe if what you're experiencing, going through, or feeling these days could be changed, because if your gut really serves and helps you so much, it's time maybe you pay attention to what's going on in your body. We're not medical practitioners or doctors or professionals. We're just here to say, hey, look, maybe what you've been looking for on the outside to fix what's going on the inside could just be what Tina and Billy created with Just Thrive. So maybe, just maybe, you look into that for yourself. And thank you again for being here. And if you're ready, I have some random questions written down on a piece of paper. All I need you to do is give me your full permission by saying, I am ready.
I am ready.
And now it's time for the fulfillment round. No phoning a friend, no using the Google machine, no digging into storage for the Encyclopedia Britannicas. And I promise Tony won't make you cry. And if you don't know the answer, just make it up. The fulfillment round brought to you by shipoffers.com for all your product and fulfillment needs. Now, Tony, you ready to ask some questions?
All right. Chicago. So how long have you been there?
My whole life.
All right. So
I'm not going to tell you how many years that is.
I didn't open into that question. Cubs or White Sox?
White Sox, 100%.
So are you a Bears fan?
Yes.
All right. How's it been for you the last so many years?
Hey, they're fun going to the games. I love going to the games. I don't know. I don't even know what their record is. I just go to the games.
Right. Well, they don't have a record right now, so we're good. We're good. We're all 500 or 1,000, so we're
exactly.
All good. Are you? If I found you like a baseball game, would you be into a Chicago dog? Is that your kind of deal, or would you like? I'm old. Like just put mustard and ketchup on my hot dog.
Yeah, no, I would do the whole thing. I'd do the whole Chicago dog for sure.
And you had to go back right now into high school and talk to one of your old teachers. And let's just say they were still teaching because you're young, and they were about to retire out. And they said, "Hey, Tita, you can come on board. We're looking for somebody to come and teach entrepreneurship. Would you be excited or interested in coming back and giving back to your school and doing it?"
Yes, in fact, I do it. I do it already. We have an entrepreneurship in our class in our high school, and I do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
Things that you've learned, but just doing that, giving back in that regards.
Oh my, just the brains that these kids have. I mean, these kids are so smart. They have so many great ideas, and they just need the tools to get it. So I applaud our high school so much that they have this program, because you see these budding entrepreneurs with such great ideas, and and now in this day and age with e-commerce, they could just do it. So
I was sitting last night down in our basement, and I leaned over and I looked at my son, and he's going to school for graphic arts, and he's just super sharp. And I'm looking over and I'm like watching him create using, Photoshop and Illustrator. And I'm just like, that's so cool. Cause when I was a little guy and he was really, really little, I'd look at him and he'd be like smiling, just like looking at life. And now he's kind of zoned in. What kind of career paths did your kids take? Have you seen them take in regards to like what you and your husband have done?
Yeah. My oldest is in sales and she's got a side entrepreneur business. So she's cranking out on her sales. She's just literally so driven, and every day she's like, oh my God, I just got another sale. And so she's doing that in the, for Sprint T-Mobile. And then she has a little side business that she's starting to, with hopefully the goal of doing that down the road. My other daughter is a sports administration major, and she is not sure yet what she's going to do. She's graduating this month, or she's a senior in college right now, so she's still kind of deciding what she wants to do, but definitely wants to go the entrepreneur route. And my son is a junior in high school, but he already knows he wants to be an entrepreneur. That's why he's in the entrepreneur class in high school, which is how I heard about this opportunity to volunteer there. So,
well, I just want to say it's just been awesome to have you here, and I think it's exciting to hear it. Like, it rubs off, like, right, what you do, your kids are silently watching. And even though we're not pressuring our kids into follow our path, it's just neat to hear that, you live in a household with a bunch of entrepreneurs, and next thing you know, it wears off on our kids because our kids are watching us.
Yep. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating. And then the last thing that I just ask, and I always like to know, is like, are you somebody who would be reading a book or listening to a book?
Reading a book.
And what would we find you reading these days?
Right now I'm reading Alchemy, the business book. Have you read that? The Alchemy is kind of new. Really good. Highly recommend it. So I read a lot of business books.
We'll put it on our show notes for you. But thank you, Tina. Thank you for spending some time this afternoon. And I hope it's been a pleasure for you as much as it has been for me. And, please stay safe and say hello to all your family. And, check it out, everybody. If you're looking to learn more, just thrivehealth.com. You can find out everything at tonygrebmeyer.com as well that we talked about, the show notes, links to everywhere. Her name is Tina Anderson. My name is Tony Grebmeyer. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, remind yourself in this very moment to make today the absolute best day of your life.
Thanks for listening to today's show. But before you go, let me ask you a question. How would you like to be the architect of your journey in this game we call life? Take the next step now at www.tonygrebmeyer.com. Enter your details to get the first week of the Be Fulfilled Journal for free. It includes access to our private community of thousands of other entrepreneurs. It'll give you more clarity and freedom in your day, and it might just change your life forever.